How's it going, Dopamon fans? The Hlinka Gretzky Cup is set to start Sunday, July 31st in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. And these are some of the top players that you should watch out for the 2023 NHL entry draft and just in general. Of course, the draft is 11 months away, but this competition is often the first stepping stone for many young prospects to get on scouts' radars. We're going to stick to two players per team. There are definitely some teams that we can talk more about, but we want to keep it as diverse as possible. So you can, flip into any game and, see somebody that you like from any team. So obviously, don't forget to tell us down below who you're most excited, about in the comments section. And without further ado, let's get onto this list.
Yeah, and real quick, if you watch this video and like this content, please like and subscribe. We are very, 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 very close to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks so much. Anyway, we'll start in Slovakia with Ondrej Molnar. HK Nitra. He's a left winger, stands 6 feet tall, 176 pounds. He's a left shot. and played in all over Slovakia this year in U18, U20, in the Pro League for 30 games. That was cool. Only had 2 assists, but as a Pro League as a 17-year-old. Pretty good. Pretty good showing, all points all the way around. I'm not going to go through all of his stats because there are just too many. And 5 different leagues, including 2 international levels. But he had 21 points in 22 U18 international with among his peers. So that gives you a better understanding about what kind of player he is right now.
hmm And internationally at the U18s this year, he played a really strong complementary role on the wing with Dalibor Dvorsky and Alex Chernik. And last season, he transitioned well to the depth role in that top pro Slovakian league, with Dvorsky set to play at the World Juniors, the U20 tournament instead, and Chernik being aged out of the competition completely. Those two players that he's played with and complemented, they're out of the competition. So this is his chance to really take the lead and demonstrate his full skill set as the leader on the ice. From what I've seen so far, he's also set to be their captain. I don't know if that's confirmed yet, but he is their number one forward. I currently have him ranked 48th in my preseason draft rankings. Go check it out somewhere in the suggestions bubble somewhere around me. Comment, description down below, we have a link to my early mock draft rankings, and I think that the second round is just likely where he's going to stay, but who knows? This might be the chance for him to show he's a first round talent.
Yeah, absolutely. And staying in Slovakia, we have Samuel Sisik. Sisik? Sometimes his name's hard to pronounce.
Okay.
It's 5'7", 150 pounds on the smaller side, but he is 17, so he has a little bit of room to grow. Whenever I give these heights, put an asterisk on it. They're not done growing yet. Left-hand shot. Plays in the Finnish leagues this year with Saipai and Katera. U20, U18 leagues. Only played 1 game in the U20 league, pardon me, and played 39 games in the U18 league. 30 points, 15 goals, 15 assists. And all in all, in the U17 international level, at 9 points in 6 games. So pretty good for the Slovakian junior level. Obviously, they've had a lot of really good players come through that system lately, and hopefully he's going to be another one.
And most of the top ones, if you've watched my mock draft, they're born in 2004. All these players are born in 2005. Sisik, uh, ironically, his father is only 5'9", so I don't know if NHL teams know that. If I don't know how much he's gonna grow, but for smaller skaters, sometimes that's an issue. But an interesting season that he had at 15 years old, he played in the third tier of Austrian pro hockey. The skill in that league is not very great, but he was able to play and compete against men as an undersized teenager. So the eyes are definitely going to be on him, especially as he is probably the most outright offensively skilled out of this Slovakian group. I don't have him currently ranked in my mock draft though, but I can't wait to do a follow-up video on players I liked, and I think he's going to be on it.
Absolutely. Moving out of Slovakia into Sweden. We have our one of our first defensemen here. We're going to talk about Theo Lindstein. Lindstein, 6 foot tall, 76 pounds, left shot defenseman. Plays in Brynäs system. 12 games in the pro level, only 1 assist. Played his majority in the J20 league for that, which makes sense. 34 games there, only 4 points. Was minus 13. If you care about plus minus, I don't. Yeah, he's a defenseman, and he's got a little bit of pro experience. So we'll see what he brings here to the U18s.
In fact, he's the only player on this roster with more than one game of experience in the SHL.
There you
And
go.
there's his 12, and then one other player has played one game. He played 4 to 7 minutes. I don't remember, but he's the only one with real pro experience. And that's going to come in handy. He is a defensive defenseman, so you're likely not going to see him in any highlight reels. But if you watch his game close, you're going to fall in love with how he dominates defensively. I currently have him ranked 14th in my preseason draft rankings, but expect lots of different opinions about him if he doesn't figure out the scoring side of his game.
Up next here, we have Otto Stenberg. It's a 5'11", 176-pound center from Frölunda's system in the SHL. Last year in the J20 leagues, had 35 points, 16 of the goals in 38 games. And played a little bit of time, 12 games, had 24 at 2 points a game in the junior 18, U18 Frölunda system. They have multiple systems in Sweden. Can be confusing. Anyway, in all, a pretty good year. Had a lot of stats in multiple different leagues as well as international. A lot of these numbers are pretty big. He had a lot of big points numbers. What do you think of our boy Otto?
He had great season stats, but what did not impress me was his play at the U18s this year. He was a second line winger on a really, really good gold medal team, and all of his incredible puck skills just didn't really show. So I'm hoping that at this tournament he can kind of step up as that top center and really show that he's destined to have that potential at the NHL level rather than just being destined as some kind of skilled winger. I have him ranked 30th in my preseason draft rankings, but he's definitely going to change for me by the end of this tournament if he demonstrates that or not. He's going to drop or fall a lot.
Yeah, he'll be a fun one to watch. I know he's got a lot of skills, so we'll see if he's able to bounce back in your rankings after not impressing you very much at the U18. So the Hlinka is generally the first major tournament of the year, so these guys got a lot of eyes on him for sure. In Czechia, we have Eduard Sale, left winger, 6'1", 168 pounds, left shot. Played in HC Kometa Brno. Played actually 10 pro games this year. 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. And an insane stat line in the U20 Czechia League. I don't know what the competition of that league is for him, but in 39 games, he had 42 goals and 47 assists for 89 points in 39 games. Whoa.
Yeah. For me, despite that, he really made his mark for me with a 5-point game against Canada at the U18s, playing on Czechia's top line. He fit in. He wasn't just a complimentary piece. He was an elite scorer. And he really, for me, I project him to be the next big Czech hockey star. Czechia, this team at Hlinka, since their last gold in 2016 and then silver in 2017, they've been pretty bad at this tournament. Last year they got their top scorer was Yuri Kulik, 4 points in 4 games. Sale himself had 3 points in 4 games. I think we're going to see Sale absolutely take off and probably lead, be one of the top 5 scorers in this tournament. I currently have him ranked 13th in my preseason draft rankings, and I definitely expect him to contend for a top 10 spot throughout the year.
Yeah, that stat line is nasty. I know that's U20, but that's
Ugh.
what he is. That's among his peers, basically, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't mention he had 30 points in 28 international U18 games, all said and done. Last year, the dude can put up points. Holy hell. Moving on, staying in Czechia, Michael Hrabal. Pardon me. Our first goaltender we're going to talk about This man, 17-year-old man, is 6'6", 198 pounds. He is a big goaltender. Played in HC Sparta this year in the Czechia League. In the U20 League, in 24 games, had a .936 save percentage. And in the U17 League, where he played amongst his age group, had a .929 save percentage in 10 games. Yeah, big goalie. I know we have a lot to say about him, and is actually set to join the NCAA in 2025-26, Massachusetts. Set to join that university program in a few years. So we'll see once he comes over to North America in a few years what he's like over here. But for now, all we can really talk about is this dude's frame and size right now.
Yeah, and apparently he's not done growing. He measures 6'6" now, but apparently, like beginning of last season, he was 6'4". So he might keep going. He might just be a tree and just never stop growing.
Yeah.
At this level of junior competition, a 6'6" goaltender can just steal the show. Absolutely. And I think that's something that Czechia will really need to kind of break their cold streak. We do have a picture of him as well, standing next to him, one of his fellow teammates at the I think it's the U17 level, but damn.
Yeah. Looks completely down on him. He's kind of gives you a sense of how big he is. I don't know who that is necessarily, so I can't compare, heights, but still, holy crap.
Yeah. And I have him ranked 20th in my preseason rankings, and I think he'll still stand as one of this year's top goalies, but you can never really know for sure with goaltender. So, who knows?
I'm excited to start my goaltending scouting journey this year with Michael Hrabal. We'll see what happens with him. Moving over to North America quickly here. In the U.S., we got Quentin Musty, one of the best names in this upcoming draft. Plays for the Sudbury Wolves in the OHL. American playing in Canada is left winger, 6'2", 203 pounds, listed. 50 games for Sudbury, 12 goals, 19 assists, 31 points. Not bad numbers in the OHL for a draft minus 1 year. What do you see with Quentin Musty?
I am not a huge fan of the USA team this year, but I can say I'm a really huge fan of Quentin Musty. He's already got the NHL size, knows how to use his body, he's got a strong shot, and just in general on the rush, I think when attacking defenders, one-on-one skills, he can make some room for himself. Still a long way to go to reach the NHL level, but just how he's able to use his size and skill at the OHL level, I think he's going to use that to dominate here among players his own age. Because in the OHL, he does play occasionally against 19, 20-year-olds. I currently have him ranked 28th in my preseason rankings. I am low on him compared to others, but I do expect him to contend for like a top 15 kind of spot throughout the year.
Yeah, and just briefly on the Americans not being very good, I believe the last time they have actually won gold in this tournament was 2003. So almost 20 years. Almost 20 years ago. Historically, the States have always been behind a country like Canada on hockey development. But in the last few years, at the age group above this have made incredible strides in their development, their player development with the U.S. National Team Development Program, and obviously with colleges and university level NCAA teams really putting players on the map. But this age group is where the States really need to start focusing on, because they get hammered a lot of the times in these tournaments by teams they shouldn't be beaten by. So we'll see what happens here in the next few years, but hopefully the Americans can start putting up some more golds in this tournament, because they have a lot of good players coming forward here, including one of our next players, Lucas St. Louis. If that name sounds familiar, absolutely should. Father is Martin St. Louis, current head coach of the Montreal Canadiens. Lucas is a defenseman. He's 5'10", which is actually a lot taller than Marty is. 161 pounds, left shot. His two brothers, one older, Ryan St. Louis, and Mason is a couple years younger. I think he's 14, so he'll be here in a few years. Ryan St. Louis, Played in the U18s a few years ago. Not a bad showing. For Lucas in the USH, US High School Prep League, Brunswick School, had 35 points in 30 games as a defenseman, so not bad. He's playing in Dubuque in the USHL this upcoming season and is committed to Harvard, apparently, for 2023-24, so he's a smart kid.
Very smart kid. Very smart kid. And at 5'10", he towers over his father, which is great to see.
Yeah.
He is a little bit undersized. That's definitely going to hurt his draft stock, but I'm really high on him, and I also would love to see a St. Louis get drafted, finally.
Yeah. Yeah, because Ryan didn't get drafted. He hasn't been drafted yet.
Mm-hmm. And like you touched on, Ryan, the USA team isn't great. There aren't many, players on this team that are like huge standouts, at least not right now. So Lucas St. Louis, he might not be the number one defenseman, but I thought I'd like to bring some attention to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumping back over, we're going to go into Finland real quick. For Kasper Halttunen, he's listed as a forward. I know he plays a little bit of all positions. He's 6'3", he's a big guy, 192 pounds, right shot in Jokerit this year, this past season in 41 games, 24 goals and 38 points. Not too bad in the U20 league. And played all over the place in the international level as well. U18s for Finnish in the international level, had 6 goals and 12 points in 19 games. So, yeah, another good player. Another good player that Finland is going to pump out of their system as well.
Yeah, at the U18s this year, he really stood out as one of the better offensive talents on Finland. He played second line right wing, though I can definitely see him transitioning to a center, not just here at Hlinka as the number one center, but also at the NHL level. He's 6'3", already filled into his body, knows the physical game, and there's just so much potential for him. He's already very offensively gifted. If he just, he's a little bit younger compared to the other Finns in the draft. And there's a lot of the projections on him are a lot about what his potential could be rather than how good he is right now, though he still is really good right now. And I think that he could really continue to grow into one of the best players in this draft. And it starts here with this competition, being a number one center, all the pressure on him. If he steps up, this is it. I currently have him ranked 9th in my pre-draft rankings, but it's really up to him to keep that top 10 spot.
And as an Ottawa fan, this next guy, be interesting to watch. Mm-hmm. We have Emil Jarventie, brother of Roby Jarventie, Ottawa draft pick. He's 5'10". He's a little shorter than Roby. I think Roby's 6'3", 6'4".
Yes, he is.
Off the top of my head. Played a little bit all over the place last year in the Finnish league, 20 games, 21 points over there, and then played 19 games in the USHL as well last year and had 6 points over here. Apparently, this is going back over to Finland, not in the Liga system. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, at 5'10", he definitely doesn't have his brother's size, but I think he has a lot more skill. He's really, really, really fast with and without the puck, and has his killer goal scoring instinct. I currently have him ranked 40th in my preseason draft rankings. Much like Kasper Halttunen, I think it's really up to him to prove that he's more than just a one-dimensional scorer and can keep that kind of top prospect consideration. There's a lot of good one-dimensional scoring talent, and if you're not more than that, you're going to drop, and it's up to him.
These two brothers remind me of the Robertson brothers.
Yeah.
One is tiny and shoots the puck harder, and the other is a little taller and a little more well-rounded. Jason and Nick Robertson, obviously, is what I'm talking about. Dallas and Leafs prospects. Or I guess he's not a prospect anymore. He's playing pretty well. Anywho, for Germany and Switzerland, we're not going to go into too many prospects. We're going to stick to one prospect each because last year each team only produced one draft pick. So we're gonna stick with one player here for now. We'll start with Germany. We have Julius Sumpf. 6 feet tall, 165 pound, forward, left shot. Played in the Austrian system last year in the ICE HL system in 11 games, 23 points. And in 3 games for Germany in the international level, U17 had 2 goals. So What do we have on Julius Sumpf?
Well, he's easily the best German prospect in the draft. He plays at the highest level. At the Five Nations, it's a U17 tournament last year. He was their number one center for Germany, led their team in goals, and I expect him to do the same here at Hlinka. If there's really one name to watch on this German roster, it's that one, and it'll be the first big chance for him to catch the eye of some scouts. Germany, of course, this is their second year. Yeah, second year in the tournament. There's not a lot of hype around them. Most people have them, tying for last with Switzerland, but he's a guy that can turn some heads. Last year it was Julian Lutz, who did really well at Hlinka and stayed on everybody's draft boards because of it, despite an injury. So if he plays well here, he'll be on everybody's as well.
Absolutely. And in Switzerland, we have our second goalie. We have Ewan Huet.
Ewan, I think.
Huh?
Ewan?
Ewan? Evan? Ewan? Whatever. I'm Scottish, so
I don't know. Right, the W's are V's, okay.
for me. Anywho, son of Cristobal Huet, ex-NHL goaltender, and his elite prospects page is a little bit perplexing because he has no information. I don't know.
He stands 6 feet tall.
All right, he's 6 feet tall. Yeah, all I have is he's a goalie.
Mm-hmm.
So we're digging into the bottom of the barrel here. In Switzerland, in the Lausanne system this year, had played 21 games, had a 12-6 record with a shutout. Pretty good. But in the international level, not very good in 4 games. Had an .850 save percentage with a .518 goals against average. That probably speaks more toward Switzerland as a U18 hockey country than him.
It does.
But yeah, a little bit of a perplexing page here. But yeah, Cristobal Huet's goaltender son. Why not? Let's see what he does.
He is 6 feet tall, just like his father, Cristobal. He was exactly the same height. And, he was a part of that international U17. That's their silver medal run, actually, at the Five Nations tournament.
Nice.
He was, I think he played only two of the games there, so it's not all the 4. But yeah, it's tough internationally to be a Swiss goaltender, but he did play a pretty good tournament there, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to perform well here as well. It has been 20 years since Switzerland earned their only medal ever at this tournament, a bronze. In the same year, I think that the Americans won, or
03?
the year before, yeah, maybe the year before they won, but yeah, that's it, one bronze. So there's going to be some pressure on them to at least try and fight for that.
It was the year before. And they went back-to-back bronzes, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Last team, and we're going to breeze through them rather quickly, I think, if you don't mind here, Alex, because we have talked about them already in a separate video. These are our 2 players for Canada. We'll start real quickly. If you want to see that video, we go through the whole roster because we're Canadian, so we want to pay more attention to the Canadian roster. Yada, yada, yada. It's bigger over here, this tournament. Cameron Allen. We'll start with him. Defenseman for the Guelph Storm. Me and you have seen him a couple times. We both really, really love this kid. Real quick, maybe not your whole blurb, but yeah, member of the Guelph Storm. Hometown pride over here. Real quick, tell me about Cameron Allen. Maybe tease the.
Well, we've had the opportunity to see him live. Plays really well in all 3 zones. He's strong. He's fast. He can skate. Excellent poise, and for a guy that measures in at 5'11", he plays a lot bigger. We thought he was like 6'3", and he's definitely like one of the best on the Guelph Storm team. He's definitely going to be the top pair for Hlinka. He's going to be paired with Caden Price, so we're going to see a lot of him. And I also project for him to be a top pair at the NHL level as well. I have him currently ranked 23rd in my preseason draft rankings, but that was really to avoid admitting my bias towards him. I absolutely see him contending for a top 10, maybe even a top 5 draft spot throughout the year.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the better defensemen in this draft for sure. And just to finish us off here, our second Team Canada guys, we could have gone a multitude of different players, but we selected Brayden Yager. Centerman from the Moose Jaw Warriors. He's going to be a top pick in this year's draft. He's 6 feet tall, 161 pounds. And in Moose Jaw in the WHL in his D-1 year, remember, in 63 games, had 34 goals and 59 points, as well as 7 points in 10 games in the playoffs for Moose Jaw. this kid is going to be really, really good.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of names we could have put here, and like we mentioned in that the roster breakdown for Canada, they all are likely going to be drafted.
Yeah.
So it's really we could have put the whole team here, but we wanted to make a separate video, but also mention one. I love Brayden Yager. It's going to be a 1A 1B situation in for this team. I think you would agree that maybe I'd rank Brayden Yager higher than Callum Ritchie, but for the sake of chemistry and how things work, I think he's going to play the second line center. That being said, Yager has this star quality when he carries the puck, makes him a threat every time he's on the ice. So he's really going to be a first line by himself anyway. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter who his line mates are. That's a new first line. It's kind of like Crosby Malkin, like it's just too good.
Yeah, he'll
um,
he'll he'll carry that second line better than he will add to the first. Zach Benson, Callum Ritchie will be the guys to really push that first line and pulling
mhm.
Brayden Yager. I keep calling him Brandon Yager. Brayden Yager down to the second line. I think really kind of spreads out that lineup. So I think that's probably the way to go, and I agree with you.
I think I have him ranked 5th or 6th in my pre-draft rankings, pre-season draft rankings. He will stay there, be a top 10, top 5-ish
Yeah, he'll
contender
be
all
probably.
year.
I'd say top five at this point,
Mhm,
unless he drops
mhm.
off pretty hard. We'll see. This is the first one, the first step for these kids. Really getting on the scouts' radars like you, and we'll see them come Sunday.
Yeah, and speaking of getting on my radar, we'll be doing some kind of follow-up video after the tournament, including video on the players that, we really liked. I want to do an updated, rankings on some of these guys, some of the guys that I didn't rank, I want to kind of estimate where I'd put them, as sort of a segue before we get into, like our, first mock draft come late September or October.
Yeah,
Hmm. And don't forget to comment down below which players you guys are most excited about. Especially the ones that maybe we didn't mention, especially
yeah,
for Canada. There's
yeah.
so many names.
We can't
Who do
mention
you say is number
everybody. We
one?
didn't want to do a whole video for each country. A lot of these guys, even for me, a lot of these players I've never really heard much about. So we're really seeing, for most fans are seeing them now for the first time. So we really wanted to dilute this whole thing down to maybe one or two guys per team, and then we'll do a bigger review after the tournament. We really see these guys in action because uh, I don't know about you. I didn't watch a lot of junior 17 Austria League players this year.
I watched one.
You watched one?
Luca Auer,
Oh,
remember?
okay. All right. Fair
Those
enough. Fair enough.
the one over to David Reinbacher. There's a few. There's a few,
Yeah.
so stick around. As we are Dopamon. We're two best friends here. We talk hockey news, analysis. We got mock drafts and scouting reports. Got coverage for international competitions like Hlinka and the World
Yep.
Juniors. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to stick around for more dope hockey content. Peace.